And the funny thing is, like, I know actual people who are heroes, and so it's actually great to know those folks. Because it's like I'm really glad I know you, and I know that I am not you. No, that's not who I am. That's not what I do. And actually, that's not who I want to be. Once I started getting a little taste of that, I realized this is not actually who I am. And I'm not interested in lying about who I am. And even if I was interested in lying about who I am, it takes an amount of energy that I'm really not willing to give. I honestly do think about it as like an insight of early middle age.
Yes, yes.
And I have 2 kids. I don't know if you have kids, but
I have 3 kids, same ages.
I would never write another memoir. I cannot believe that I wrote a book about myself 12 years ago. I would never do it again.
Really?
Yeah, ever.
Why?
I was 28 because now that I'm 40, I know that I'm not that important. Yeah. And when I was 28, I thought I was a lot more important. Now I think it's a useful book. I'm not, I'm not sad that I wrote it, but I would never do it again.
So interesting. So interesting. It's great, isn't it?
It actually is.
It's liberating.
It's totally. It's so funny. When I was 25, I'll never forget this. Actually, I wrote my first op-ed for the Chicago Tribune when I was like 24 or 25, and I went to a public event the night that my op-ed appeared in the Sunday paper, and I desperately wanted people to be like, "Oh, you're Eboo Patel. You wrote that out." And of course, nobody did that. To be confessionally honest, this notion of I want people to know who I am was dominant for a long time, and it was recessive, and then it disappeared. But you have kids, and they do what kids do, which is they definitely don't know who you are or care. Part of it is, I live in the Midwest. No, I don't live in New York or DC. There's no point for walking around thinking you're important in Chicago. Look at this guy, right? He's maybe the most important rock musician in Chicago, and he's just a dude who lives in, Avondale Park.
Exactly.
It's fun to talk about because it's not like this is a salient realization for me. It's it has now just become this is my job. This is what I do, and I love it, and I think it's important. And but it's my job.
And it's not. It doesn't define me.
It's not the only thing that defines me.
Right.
And I used to try to give it 15 hours a day of hero energy. And that is, unless you're Martin Luther King Jr. or Gandhi, which I am not, that is a recipe for burnout. Line by Gary Snyder, the Buddhist poet, he's your job is to move the world a millionth of an inch. And when I was 19, I would have been oh my gosh, and now I'm please God, give me the chance to just do even a millionth of an inch,